Hello, my name is Debbie Reynolds. They call me the Data Diva. Today I want to talk about data privacy and Facebook in-app browser tracking on Apple iOS devices. So, when Apple last year started their app transparency push, what they did was they cut off companies like Facebook with the type of advertising or the type of data grabs or data uses that they were using. And as a result, that impacted Meta or Facebook's profits in advertising. I think the estimate in 2022 is that Facebook will lose probably about $10 billion in their typical ad revenue as a result of this Apple app transparency. However, there's a case that just got filed in the U.S. District Court of the Northern District of California against Facebook and Meta around in-app browser tracking. So basically the way in-app browser tracking works, well, first of all, let me talk about how it's supposed to work on iOS. So let's say if you have an iOS device, you have opted out of your data being tracked, and then you don't opt in to certain things. That means that if you use browsers or other apps on those devices, that companies can't take that data, or they can't see the data that you're producing on those devices, only without their consent. What in-app browsing does on Facebook, and I'm only mentioning Facebook because this case is about Facebook, so they're not the only company that does this. But basically what they do is, if you use Facebook, let's say you have a link or something on Facebook and you click it, what would normally happen is that it would open up a browser on your phone and then or your iOS device, and it would use the browser that you choose, you select, and then you would have kind of the saving of your privacy settings that you would typically want to have. What happens with in-app browsing or in-app browsers is that instead of taking you, the individual, to this other browser that has these other settings that you have set up for your phone, it injects some code into the website that you're looking into in the in-app browser, and it actually, for all intents and purposes, basically snoops on you. So basically, instead of you, whenever you click on something, a link, you use the in-app browser, the company that is providing this in-app browser can see or know what the other things that you're doing on those other sites. So this is a big deal. It's a big problem because if someone, for example, has purchased the iOS device, they set up their settings on the device, they don't expect that companies like Facebook, and actually throw TikTok in here as well because they do a similar thing, that they're going to be able to see other information that you as a user did not intend to show them when you're browsing these other sites or looking at other things. So this is going to be a big deal case. As I said, this particular case is for Facebook. It was recently filed, but I think a similar case will probably be filed against maybe TikTok and some other companies. Other companies have been hurt by this app transparency, have been trying to find alternate ways to be able to gather user data. The problem is, what we see is these data privacy laws really cutting down on companies being able to sort of surreptitiously take or view or look at people's data without their consent, and definitely without their knowledge. So it remains to be seen what happens with this case. I think, this won't be the only company, Facebook won't be the only company that will have a case like this, but we'll see what happens, like what these companies will do to change either their behavior or stop doing this practice. That's it. Thank you.